Welcome to Fred Achando Analysis, ladies and gentlemen. I really love my country, Kenya. But as we speak, Kenya is at crossroads. There is an air of uncertainty. You can feel it from wherever you are. And if you can't feel it, just walk around and talk to your friends. Or just go to the social media and you will see and feel the sentiments of our beloved fellow countrymen. Because in the middle of the night today, it is like battle lines have been drawn and daggers are being brandished. Because we've got two fellas in Kenya who are trying to flex their political muscles. William Samoei Ruto and Raila Mass Odinga. At the center of it lies the common man, the ordinary mwananchi. This is a fact. Now, if you ask anybody, they will tell you that the situation where Ruto finds himself today is not an isolated situation. This is not an isolated case. Because if you begin with the professor himself, the late President Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, at some point he found himself staring at Raila Mass Odinga politically. And after trying all that he could, he decided to embrace magnanimity and they sort of worked together, even though later there was some bit of betrayal. Come to Mwai Kibaki. In 2007, William Ruto was at the center when there was an altercation between the ODM. In fact, William Ruto was working with Raila Mass Odinga. And there was a very ugly altercation after the 2007 elections. Kenyans fought, killed each other. We had people who were displaced from their ancestral lands. What happened? Under certain circumstances, Raila Mass Odinga and Kibaki worked together. Then Uhuru Kenyatta, who was also working together with William Ruto, agreed to send an olive branch to Raila Mass Odinga in the famous handshake, and they worked together. I want you to help me answer one question because no one has monopoly of wisdom. Were all these three presidents fools? Daniel Moi, Kibaki, and Uhuru Kenyatta. Were they fools? Does it mean that William Ruto is the wisest? The reason I'm asking is that if Kenyans will go on demonstration, if Kenyans will go to the street starting tomorrow, and we lose revenue, and we have running battles between the police and the ordinary man, someone will bear the responsibility. And if you ask me, the responsibility could be direct or indirect. And I want to submit to you that William Ruto will bear the greatest responsibility because as it stands, he is the commander-in-chief of all the armed forces. He is in charge of the police. Already, he had barricaded all the roads that approach State House. State House Road, State House Avenue, Dennis Street, even in Kisumu, and I think in Mombasa, all State House lodges within the country. The reason I'm giving this analysis is because I find something about Ruto wanting. Because William Ruto is a seasoned politician. He has worked with Raila Mass Odinga. He understands his weaknesses. Instead of taking advantage of the weakness, he's allowing his pride to lead him. And I can assure you that he will regret it. You know, when this matter started, William had the advantage, a very golden opportunity to avert what we might face tomorrow. He knew very well that there were controversy surrounding our elections. He knew very well that Raila Amolo Odinga is commanding over 8 million plus Kenyans who swear their allegiance to him, who share his political ideologies. And this has been Raila's strength from the days of Moi, Kibaki, and William Ruto, because they know very well that Raila has the masses, Raila has the people, a contingent of masses who are ready to die for him. William Ruto knew this very well. Now, what did he do? He went the opposite way from his predecessors, because while campaigning he had indicated that he wanted to take Raila back to Bondo. Those sentiments, if you ask me, ask anybody who is close to Raila Amolo Odinga, those sentiments did not go down well with Raila Amolo Odinga. And if you want to know that they were not just political gimmicks and political campaign slogans, immediately he took oath of office. He embarked on taking the members of parliament from the UDM who were elected under the Azimio fraternity. And he had sent the first warning bell that I'm coming for you and I'm ready to take you back to Bondo. And he perpetuated the invasion of the Azimio team, taking all the 30 members of the Jubilee, meeting over 10 of the ODM supporters in State House. And Raila knew this man has declared war. If you know very well that your opponent is crying for that you stole his victory, there is a way you should carry yourself. He went ahead and invaded. It was like invading their businesses. They allowed the importation of milk, which was not bad because competition is good for consumers. But we understood from the Kenya Kwanza team themselves, if we have to quote them, that they were doing this because they were targeting Uhuru Kenyatta and his companies. Recently, they brought in the Taifa Gas, this tycoon from Tanzania, to launch the manufacturing of gas, of the gas. I think it is either gas cylinder or the gas used for cooking, the LPG. And if you listen to them, instead of making it look like they're doing this for the betterment of the mwananchi, because we will now have competition and the prices of gas will come down, they make it sound like they are targeting Raila Odinga with the East African spectrum industry. And so he decided to go for them. As if that was not enough, he charged on Matiang'i, people who are working closely with President Uhuru Kenyatta. And then he went for their families. They don't pay taxes. They don't. In fact, it compelled Mama Margaret, a very quiet mama. She rarely talks. It forced her to come out. You've seen the comments. People are saying that there isn't any regime that is impeccable. It takes the efforts of a successive regime to be very magnanimous and very forgiving, so that vitu vingine unazifunika. But William Ruto did not do that. So Raila Amolo Odinga was vexed beyond control. They're invading your businesses, taking your members of parliament, and then he knew that this man really wants to take me back to Bondo. And Raila is now a charged lion. Number two, William Ruto, having realized that now things are getting thicker, he decided to ban all the Kamkunji, meetings. In Jacaranda, they chased people there, arrested some of them. You remember Omosh was arrested, he was apprehended, and they walked away with, they took him to some places for some days, just trying to frustrate him. And when Omosh came back, he confessed that some people were sent even almost to kill him. And then just the other day, they cut down the only tree at the Jacaranda grounds. That tree was providing shade, not only for those who go there for politics, even those who go there for businesses. Whenever you find yourself, because Jacaranda is like a recreational ground, and that shade was giving a very pacifying environment whenever there's a lot of heat. And William Ruto is telling us to plant more trees. How do I plant more trees when you are cutting down more? So he has decided to take on Raila. And for those who know, you don't take on Raila, because when you do, it is like taking fish to water. This is something that his predecessors did not do, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, he decided to influence the termination of Raila's contract as the African Union High Representative of Infrastructure. This is a position that Raila was given by his predecessor, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. But then William Ruto knew very well that number one, this is a source of income. He terminated it. And you know, the biggest mistake about this was he now gave Raila more time to concentrate on the rallies, on planning the mass action. Because at least during the days when Raila had this position, you remember when he organized for the first parallel Jamhuri rally, he was invited very hurriedly to Washington DC to attend the US African Summit. So the US could easily manipulate him using this. Now that he took it away, Raila Odinga is free, and I believe is free but very bitter. And I want to submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, that William Ruto, I thought he was very wise, but I've just realized that it is not wisdom. William Ruto is just a proud man who has refused to be humble. And that is why in a few hours time we are going to find ourselves in a quagmire with running battles with the police and the common mwananchi, and we are going to lose revenue, and the country is going to be divided further. William Ruto inherited a very divided country, but he was lucky that people did not go to the streets. He wants to divide this country further. I have seen them going for prayers every day, but forgiveness is something that they have not learned. The last thing that he did that will make history judge him harshly is that he allowed his surrogates, his allies like the deputy president, to have that stand that they cannot talk to any other person. It is like whenever they talk to the opposition, the opposition will take the political mileage. They forget that Raila has people who pay taxes, people who swear to his allegiance. And I want to submit to you that if William Ruto let the country goes under inferno, when the country burns, it will burn with him.